We all know the Thomas Shelby who rose from the mud of the First World War.
I dream, and in my dream...
We know the razor blades, the tailored suits, and the sheer, calculated ambition. But throwing him into the fires of the Second World War on the big screen is more than just a cinematic upgrade. It is a death sentence. For years, we watched a man conquer Birmingham, London, and the halls of Parliament. Yet, the true tragedy of Peaky Blinders isn't about the rise of a kingpin. It's about a man who has forgotten how to stop breathing. Today, we are going to analyze why The Immortal Man is the most brilliant yet devastating conclusion British television has ever brought to the cinema. Chapter 1. The Visual Evolution. For 6 series, Stephen Knight confined the Peaky Blinders to the claustrophobic, smoke-filled streets of Birmingham. The camera work on television was intentionally tight. We were trapped in those dimly lit rooms in Small Heath, suffocated by the industrial smog and the sheer weight of Tommy's internal plotting. The aspect ratio kept us close to his face, close to the danger. But transition to the cinema screen, and the entire visual language shifts. The aspect ratio expands, but ironically, it doesn't offer freedom. Instead, the wide, sweeping shots of a world plunging into global conflict only serve to make Thomas Shelby look incredibly small. Notice the color grading. The familiar industrial grays and muted browns of his past have been violently swallowed by the terrifying reds and pitch blacks of the Blitz. The shadows are harsher. The contrast is brutally sharp. Tommy isn't just a gangster fighting local lords in the mud anymore. He is a ghost wandering through a literal apocalypse. And the cinematography ensures that we, the audience, feel every single ounce of his absolute isolation. The camera lingers, refusing to look away from a man who is watching the world catch fire. Chapter 2. The Psychology of a Ghost. The tragic irony of Thomas Shelby is that he actually died in France, down in the Clay Kickers tunnels. The man who came back to Birmingham was just a hollow shell, wearing a suit. Everything he did building a criminal empire, amassing unimaginable wealth, seeking political power, was simply a desperate attempt to drown out the rhythmic, deafening sound of the shovels in his head. He never slept, because sleep is where the dead men wait for him. And now, the Immortal Man throws him back into the exact nightmare he spent 2 decades running from: war. But this time, there is nowhere left to run. The Second World War isn't merely a historical backdrop in this film. It is the physical manifestation of Tommy's internal trauma, finally catching up to him. Look at the title, The Immortal Man. It sounds triumphant, doesn't it? But within the psychological landscape of Peaky Blinders, being immortal is not a superpower. It is a curse. It means he is condemned to survive, condemned to watch everyone he loves perish while he is forced to walk the earth, unable to find the peace of the grave. The tension in this film doesn't come from wondering if Tommy will defeat his enemies. The true, agonizing tension comes from asking, can a man who is already dead survive the end of the world?